That is really weird. Sorry, this is very, very touchy. Very touchy. I was trying to delete my drawings. There it goes. I hope it's not like 5 different recordings now, because I think I just stopped recording and started and stopped and started and stopped and started. Is there an end of the month pop on average? End of the month pop? What pop, I guess, would be what direction? Bullish, bearish? To answer your question, not to my knowledge. I don't know of one specifically. End of the month, either bullish or bearish, to my knowledge, no, nothing that you can at least count on, in fact. The other indices are pretty much the same. The Qs, right, had an all-time high just Friday. Couldn't get any higher. And, again, just a little bit of an inside day candle. It's a rest. We're resting. IWM, we're resting. And then the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we are resting. Actually, the Dow Jones, technically a little bit of a one black crow candle. So all I can say is, if we get a pullback, even if it's a little bit of a big one, we need it. It's healthy. It's not the top of the market. We will go higher. And I would expect something like this to probably be worst case scenario. And that could be a lot of fun. So if that gets happen, get ready. Maybe you don't make tons of money on the downside. If that's the case, it's okay. But we can make a lot of moves and some solid money on that way up. So yes, January has been ostentatiously bullish. 2 days left in January. Could I be wrong, and could we gap up tomorrow and just storm off to the races? Possibly, but it just makes sense that a little bit of a pullback is about to occur. And since today is Merchant Monday, here's XRT, which is the retail ETF. Here's the weekly chart, and this thing has a beautiful bounce. Very nice support down here at 38.66, bouncing into the Santa Claus rally season of buying, aka Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that jazz. A lot of traders buying into the retail sector, causing XRT to go up. So very nice looking trend. Looks like a 1, 2, 3. In fact, I might even draw that because that 1, 2, 3 looks pretty good to me. Sorry, again, this PC, I'm just clicking on the wrong buttons. It's very sensitive, much more sensitive than the Mac. But that's just my settings. All right, we might really be at this wave 3 now. Wave 4 would be right about here, and the wave 5 would probably trade us to there. So, thank you. Wave count on XRT. Oh boy. Wave count on XRT. Strong trend, buy the dip. So that's just for anyone looking at planning or anyone who requested XRT. That's really it. Doesn't mean you have to take the trade, but there are some traders who have some positions in the XRT. I'm not one of them, but if you are, it just says, hey, expect a little bit of a pullback. Try to figure out your time frame and then kind of play it accordingly. So I don't know the name of the person. The tag on Zoom is Children of God. I don't know who that is, the name of that person. But the answer to your question was, is this Elliott Wave application got a video? And the answer is, of course. Hop over to the website and click on video, and we can type in Elliott Wave. I always spell better on my Mac. Elliott Wave. Elliott Wave? Wave? It's somewhere in here. 3. All you need to know about Elliott Wave. There you go. Enjoy. Iris says, this meeting happens every night at 5 p.m. every day, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Cool. That's XRT. Okay, so that's the broad market overview. Let's hop into some individual stocks and see what's going on. So the stocks that we're going to be looking at today, I'll kind of flip back and forth to them. Here's the list. Next on the list, first up, we got MYO. So MYO, this was an interesting one depending on how you played it. So here's the daily chart. And this was a trade that we looked at last week that we had an entry at 475 by 346. So I hop over here, go into the swing trade current month, MYO. I did post in Slack and I adjusted that earlier today. I kind of messaged out everyone saying, hey, I'm going to adjust this trade. There were some traders that got triggered in. There were some traders that did not get triggered in. Let me see how I can do this really quick for GW. How do I do that? How do I do that? How do I do that? Give me 6 seconds. I'm going to try to help this trader out really quick. How do I do that audio? Audio settings, phone call. Take a picture and I will upload it to GW on Slack. Okay. Fantastic. So MYO did update the entry to 445, 345. If you got triggered in, I still think it's an okay trade. I was looking at it earlier today and I was like, I think we can just get a little savings on the trade. It traded down at one point to 475 at one point during the day, and some traders got triggered and some didn't. And if you did, no big deal. It still looks okay. I just figured let's just drop it a few more pennies. So I think I'm going to update this video and update this setup to 445 entry and a pullback with a stop at 345, and that's pretty much it. If you want to ever change your name on Zoom, I do not know how exactly you would do it on your end. All I know is you download the app onto your desktop and you'll have like a little bit of a symbol here at the very bottom. And then you can click on a Zoom panel and then you'll have like your account and you can change your settings and your profile and you can pretty much have it say whatever you want it to. Very good question, but yeah, you can have it say pretty much whatever. So that's the swing trade setup on MYO. That is still open, still official. Here's the 100 simple, and we'll leave that open another day or two and see if we get triggered in on that pullback. Next on the list is CARA, and CARA is a swing trade that we also made official last week, and I think we can just cancel this one. I don't think it's going to pull back quite as far as we want it to. Strong breakout. It is retesting, right? That's the retest right there. Just not really pulling back where we want it to. So we can cancel that trade. Hop over here, CARA. Let me sign in. Perfect. And then I can update that on the worksheet. Ash, what's going on, Ash? Don's in the building. I love it. All right, swing trade, cancel. So we have canceled that one. And that is done. I can move this over here, CARA, off the list. On to the next one. Next was WATT, Watt. And Watt looks pretty good. This is a large stop. Large stop. Here's the exponential moving averages, so it's kind of doing its thing. I believe I want Watt to close above 1906, and then once it does that, we buy the dip, right? So I really want it to prove itself, get a good close above these averages, and then we'll set up to buy that retest. Santosh says, why was CARA canceled? It was because you waited 4 days? Yep, I waited 4 days, didn't trigger, so canceled it. Moving on to the next one. So Watt, I'm going to put that on my list for the future. Let's look at that again. We'll check it out some tomorrow, and we will also look at that on Wednesday if it triggers on Tuesday. So WATT. So we're going to keep tracking this one for the next 2 or 3 days and see if Watt can close above. That might be our newest swing trade at some point. Okay, cool. Next on the list from there, we have is CVS. CVS. So let's hop into CVS and figure out what goes on from here. CVS. All right. Cranking. CVS is cranking. This is one of the stocks that I mentioned in the December 29th, 2017 webinar. that I was most bullish on for the year. It has been doing nothing but just going up since. Honestly, almost every single day. You had a phenomenal bullish gap. This is a good takeaway for you guys in the room. I love it when you have a bullish gap and go like this, especially when it's above all the moving averages. I mean, that just makes it even better. But when you get a bullish gap and go into a bearish candle, right? We can all agree that that's a nice bear candle. So when that happens, that trade setup is pretty simple. You get in above the high of the bear candle, you set your stop below the low of the bear candle, and that's that. Doesn't mean it's going to trigger, but it means if it does, right, if you get that nice gap and you get that momentum coming in, right, because remember, someone in the world shorted that day. Someone shorted, and they are now a sad panda the next day because the stock gaps and they get trapped, right? It's already a bullish gap and go, and that's a phenomenal little trade to take. So CVS looking good. Ash says, isn't that a bullish candle? This one right here? This is, what day is this? Just to make sure. No, definitely not a bullish candle by any means. The 4th of January. Nope, huge upper shadow, and it's black. Means it closed lower than it opened. So it was a gap, right? So the day closed higher. So if you're looking at this day compared to this day, obviously this day closed higher than the previous day, but this candle is a bearish candle for sure. It's a black candle with a giant upper shadow which says selling pressure. Certainly not bullish. Yeah. Cool. No, but good question, because again, that's a solid takeaway. I love when you get a gap like that. Bullish gap and go into a bearish candle. Easy play. Very similar to what we took on CenturyLink. So let's go look at Allstate, ALL. And Allstate, believe it or not, was one of the trades. This was the last bullish trades. Right here. Either right there or right here. I don't remember the exact time, but one of those two times. The exact time, the last time I made a profitable bearish trade. Let me help Ira really quick. Can't help. Okay, so Allstate, nice, little bearish. A little bearish. That looks like a double top pattern. Here's the challenge. Very similar to last time I traded Allstate. By the way, here, yep, I do remember the last trade. I had to look at the candles. Here was the last trade. Entry here, stop here, target there. That was the exact last trade on Allstate right there. Let me try to zoom in a little bit more for you just to show it. I think that was the last profitable bullish trade or bearish trade I've taken. Just barely got triggered too, like by a penny or something, and we had a stop right there, and we got out right there. That was it. Just a quick R, like 1.2 Rs. So anyway, this looks slightly bearish on Allstate. A little bit of a double top type of pattern, and looking at it. I don't know, guys. I'm thinking let's just wait on Allstate, but this one could be a little bit of a bearish play. Matt's looking for it to go down a little bit anyway with this put sale down there at 95. I'm going to put Allstate on the list for Wednesday. If we can get a good break of the 100, I will consider a bearish play. That's exactly what happened last time, and then it went bullish. So what I'm going to do is prepare myself, and I'm going to track almost that exact pattern and see if we get similar candles. But Allstate on my list as a possible bear, just because of the pattern, right? You have a very nice low high, lower high, huge bearish volume. Granted, it's coming into the 100. It could easily bounce, boop, no problem. But I'm just saying, just in case, I would like to have at least one potential bearish trade out there. The market is at all-time highs. I would like to at least make a little bit of money on the downside. So Allstate, possibility. Next is DISCA. DISCA. DIS, Discovery Communications. Weekly. Okay, okay. The reason I'm looking at the weekly chart, I don't look at the stock very often. I don't know what it's doing. But you have a pretty nice support resistance level right about there. Kind of broke through that price. Almost a V bottom out of here. What we're doing right now, over to the daily chart. So you're obviously above all the daily moving averages. What would you call this pattern that we were dealing with right now? What would you call that pattern? This could be called a pennant pattern. Yep, you could call it a pennant. You could probably call it a flag, maybe get away with a stair step, but I would say it's a pennant. A little bit of a pennant pattern. And all I would say is whoever requested Discovery Communications, and again, just as a reminder, do not expect you all to trade everything that we look at. There might just be one trader who is excited about just one stock, and I'll be happy to look at it for them. But, oh yeah, this S-curve, this S-curve is beautiful. That's what Andre saw. Andre saw a nice little bullish run up, pull back, dip buying opportunity. Woo! Oh, purple Lamborghini. Nice move. So now we're at a pennant pattern, almost a perfect doji on the day. And I mean, if it makes a higher high and a higher low, we can rock it out from there. Efren, I don't think I'll have time to look at that one today, but I will be happy to put on my list for tomorrow. All right, let's go look at Kroger. Ticker symbol KR. And Kroger, this is one that Sandra wanted me to check out at one point. This was a fun trade. Here's the weekly chart. Actually, the reason I put up the weekly, just give you guys an idea of what the heck this stock did. So Kroger, biggest grocer in the world, or in America, I should say. Had a huge move, had some type of consolidation, distribution phase up there, big bearish move, rotated back down, and then popped strongly. Here's the daily chart. And you wouldn't have really been getting excited about its bullish nature until somewhere right around here, with a breakout above that long-term moving average. That's when it got exciting. And then it had a retest gap. Type in a 1 if you can see that retest with both eyes. White candle, gapped up. That's the retest. And then you get that doji. I like the doji. I mean, that's beautiful. If one we're going to have taken that trade, we're going to ride above the high of that candle. We'll stop right below that candle and let it ride. So from this point, the trend is doing its thing. You'll notice it needed to close above that resistance because this was a really strong resistance. So you can see you had some resistance there. So you had a lot of resistance. It needed to close above it to really prove that it was going to go higher, and it did. So it closed above it 28.90, pulled back some, a little bit of a pennant pattern, and then really just continued. So the cool part is if you're looking at playing Kroger at this juncture, I would probably say be bullish. I wouldn't buy at this exact spot and see if and when it pulls back into some weakness. That's probably where I would buy. You will have a little bit of a support resistance right there on the daily chart. Yeah, so some pullback on Kroger for those who are looking at playing it, but this trend could be pretty nice overall. PTLA. Ah, yes, Portela Pharmaceuticals. This is one that Tommy was looking at. Here's the long-term moving averages. Not much happening. It's really just sideways. This is what I would refer to as bullish to neutral. So I'm going to hop over to the weekly. Yeah. I did look the other day for a bull put spread or put sale or something. There's really not a lot of premium for that. Did get close to the 50 EMA monthly chart. I mean, it looks more bullish to neutral. To me, it appears that it's in some type of channel. So the support would look something like that. So Tommy, if you're looking at playing PTLA bullish, if it comes back down to 48, I would look to buy it. If, of course, it breaks out of this channel, buy the dip. That's pretty much it on PTLA. Next on the list, we got Starbucks. Starbucks. I like me some Starbucks. Here's the daily chart, sorry. Here's an interesting fact. Starbucks is on the 100 simple on the daily and the weekly chart. Very fascinating. I think this is going to bounce. You got a Chris Hemsworth Hammer of Thor right there. A little bit of an upper shadow today, which says to me that some people probably looked to go bullish right above that candle, the stop right there, because that was easy. That was too easy to spot. So the market maker's probably trying to shake things up a little bit. I mean, that is a tweezer bottom. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. That's a tweezer bottom, if you've ever seen one. So, what to do on Starbucks? I need to start planning this one. An inside day candle tomorrow or some type of hammer, and we might be able to play ball with this one. Put the stop below that tweezer right there. Again, you're trying to bounce off the 100 on the daily and the weekly. If I had to guess, we probably do something like this and this. Get really close. And again, that stop is just too obvious. So we'll see. I did look at a put sale for anyone who wants to potentially own some shares. And there was some premium there. So you had some premium down here around 52.50. You had about a quarter, 25 cents for anyone who doesn't mind owning shares down there. Again, back to the weekly chart. So if you want to own some shares, this is obviously a distribution phase on Starbucks. It would be a buy low, sell high. I think that put sale was for March. Let me do something fun really quick, and we'll find out together. Ba-da-da-da-da. All right. Hopping over to Thinkorswim. I'm just going to hop into Starbucks really quick. Not having positioned Starbucks. It was the March 52.50. Ah, you could get about 31 cents for that right now. Okay. Okay. Not too shabby. You know, from March, let's hop back over to the chart. And I know someone out there in the world is going to be interested in doing that, so I'm going to throw that in there for them. I'm going to come back to the, I'll just leave it like that for right now. March, 31 cent limit. Oh boy, I can't type on the PC. I'm used to that beautiful Mac keyboard. 52.50. Okay. Put sale on Starbucks. We've done this one numerous times before, just in case anyone else wants to potentially own shares down here in this distribution phase. Okay. So it's neutral, chart patterns, Starbucks, SBUX. And again, we've done a few. Starbucks, put sale. Just in case anybody wants to consider owning shares, if you don't want to, don't worry about it. RD says, how about a credit spread? There's no premium in a credit spread, unfortunately. So if you did the 52.50 and then the 50, well, I say there's not, you would get about 8% ROI, maybe 8% ROI. So if you want to do one RD, I would say Yeah, the 52.50 $50 bull put spread for March pays about 8% return, which is not horrifically awful. Yeah, it's not too bad. Andre says, Jay, you better own some Apple shares. Oh boy. Long time, man. Long time. NVCR. NVCR. Sounds like VCR. When's the last time you guys used a VCR? That's a good question. Man, when's the last time I used one? I'm trying to think. I had like a DVD player not too long ago. VCR, though? It's been a bit. I'd say 9 years, 8-9 years ago. Last time I used one. NVCR, whoever requested this one, I like it. Here's what I would do is I would say, here's a beautiful resistance. And this would be, if you're looking at buying the dip, this is where I would, right about that 24. Also, phenomenal retest gap on the weekly chart. I did have a trader ask me over the weekend, do gaps work on a weekly? And the answer is yes. Yes, they do. They usually retest though, but that is a phenomenal retest on a weekly chart. And again, you see the retest, and this is where you've been looking to buy right in there. These gaps work, folks. They're legit. So back to the daily on NVCR. Yeah, whoever requested this one, again, I don't have any position in it personally. Not going to personally take the trade, but if it pulled back into about 22, 29, I'd go bullish. Efren says Blockbuster. Oh boy. I forget the exact story, but I know that someone, I think Starbucks, hold on. I think the story is Netflix was trying to get bought out by Blockbuster, and Blockbuster didn't want to do the deal. Something like that. I don't know if that's a rumor or if that's true, but funny story. Andre says Titanic movie back in the day was about 3 tapes. Oh, that's funny. That's a frequent trader point funny right there. I do remember those giant box sets. One frequent trader point for Andre. Andre, you're funny, man. I can't wait for us to hang out. Yeah, I remember because you would get like the 4-box series, and oh man, that's rich. That is rich. Okay, next on the list, we got AYX. Now, this is an interesting stock. Oh, yeah. So, AYX, I was looking for it to break out. Hasn't done it yet. It is a retest gap. Back to the daily chart. AYX. So you got a nice high wave candle. Ooh, we could either buy the pullback on this one and look to buy it at pretty much where our stop is, and then have the stop lower, or take the breakout. Oh, that looks pretty nice actually. Either one of those. Well, let me plan the second trade then, and we'll look at it again tomorrow. Or buy limit at 28.35 with a stop loss at 26-ish. Here's a funny story, kind of. I had a trader who a few months back emailed me up and was like, hey, Newsome, can I get some coaching? I keep getting stopped out. I keep getting whipsawed. I can't figure out what's wrong with me. I don't know why every time I get into a trade, it trades down to my stop exactly and then bounces. Type in a 3 if you've ever experienced that before. But it happens repetitively, right? You get into the trade and then it does it. Here's a suggestion that I have that you could always try if you want to try it in February. Do the analysis, right? So do your analysis of where you would get into the trade and where you would get out of the trade. And then put your entry where your stop is. And see if that works. I told him to do it, and he did it, and it worked really well for the next week. It got him out of the slump, got the confidence back, and he was good to go. So if you ever find yourself in a slump, do your analysis. So for example, let's say take this trade right here, and then you see where your stop is, just put the flipping entry right there, and then put the stop lower. So if you keep getting that battle, right, if you get stuck in that rut, what you're going to do is you're going to self-fulfill a problem. So I was like, okay, well, if that's the issue, then just get in where your stop is, do your analysis, and then see what happens from there. Anyway, just a tip. It works. Everything works in the market, just not all the time. Okay. Next, we have, so that one, let me write that one down, AYX for tomorrow. So we have BB. Ryan says, I hold with Kung Fu grip. That's always been my problem. Ah, gotcha. You just don't like being wrong. I hear you. It happens, man. It happens to the best of us. Just start embracing it. One of the ways that you can do it is just start admitting that you're wrong more in like public settings and being okay with it. Just saying it out loud sometimes can help. Most people don't like to be wrong, especially if you're smart, you actually have a job that matters. You know, in my job, I can be wrong and nothing happens. It's like, oh, shoot, I was wrong. All right. You know, that was it. People with important jobs, you know, engineers or doctors or lawyers or moms or whatever, you can't really be wrong. Rocket surgeons. It's not a rocket surgeon. So anyway, I know that's crazy, Ryan, but it is decent advice. You gotta be okay being wrong, man. Gotta embrace it, at least in trading. Embrace the wrongness. It's rocket surgery. BlackBerry, we're gonna put this one on the list also for tomorrow. I wanted it to break out and close above that resistance. It hasn't yet. We're moving on. My note was I want to close above trigger and tomorrow, Thursday, buy on a pullback. Hasn't occurred yet. Next potential trade could be right here into that 50. The reason I'm being cautious on BlackBerry is because, well, it's BlackBerry. And who's really going bullish on BlackBerry? So we're going to come back to that one tomorrow. Look at it another 2 or 3 more times. XXII was requested a time or two. 22nd Century Group. My buddy Brian had shares of this one. Traded to a pretty decent resistance. Right there. And now we're pulling back to another resistance based on that line and that line. That's probably where I'd look to buy if I was personally trading XXII, which is about $3.20. $3.20. Yeah, that would be where I would look to buy it. 318, 320, something like that. It has bounced off the 50 EMA before, right? Yeah. Here's the gap action. So you got a gap back from October. Got the 50 right there. If you're looking at buying it, that's where I would personally. Even though I'm not, that's where I would. That's my thoughts on XXII. Next on the list, this is going to be a fun one, not controversial in the least. Weed. I mean, if you're going to have a ticker, you might as well just. Here it is, guys. Here's what we're doing. Weed. TSX, Canopy Growth stock. Phenomenal breakout not too long ago. Shoop. Beautiful bullish gap and go back in November. Printing money. Interesting to me that it looks like it's doing something similar to what it did before. What I'm working on is trying to find a pattern. So it made a new high, came down and bounced, and then made a new low. We didn't really do that this time. We traded up, came back down, so we didn't really make a new rotation. This second move, you had 2 black candles, followed by a white candle, followed by a black candle that gapped up. If I were playing weed canopy growth, hold on, let me try to do that better. Oh gosh. Oh geez. The debauchery. Try like that. I think this candle, do your research on this wave. I'm gonna make that a different color. I'm doing this left-handed, by the way. You guys will be proud of me. That's how I avoid carpal tunnel. I taught myself how to do everything mouse related with my left hand. All right, copy. How do I just clone this? Clone. I'm gonna move it over here. Now, I know that's probably not super helpful, but all I'm looking at is, yeah, I think this thing could roll up a little bit higher, kind of get like a small move, and then kind of start grinding up into that area. This was a phenomenal move. Yeah, let's look. This candle, if we're in the same wave pattern, December 1st, you might have another 2 weeks before this one really cranks out, but start analyzing back here in December, what it's doing then, and then what it might do in the future from there. Let's go look at Honey Buns. I'm kidding. Honeywell. H-O-N. Honeywell International. Yeah, that is almost a tweezer top. 3 pennies away from a tweezer at an all-time high. Honeywell. Just a lot of stocks need pullbacks, guys. I was reviewing some charts with some good traders of mine last night, and I was just like, jeez. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. $28 to $100. Honeywell? Honeywell. Honeywell? I mean, you have to buy the dip, right? Here's the daily charts, and it's not the most bullish candle in the world. Most stocks right now, the time to sell was pretty much last week and or today at open. Collect some gains and look for it to come back down a little bit more is what I'm thinking. So Honeywell, that's all I got. Probably forms a pennant pattern, no real trade on it. Let's move on. Apple, oh boy, what time is it? 4:42, okay. So Apple traded down pretty much to the 100 simple moving average, down a little bit post-market. Some traders did get stopped out on Apple today, and some traders got triggered into Apple today. It just depends on how patient you were. This does now look a little bit more channel-esque. I did get triggered into this bull put spread today on Apple. You still probably will have time tomorrow. 155, 150 for my credit spread fan. Victor has a put sale expiring this Friday, and it will probably do something like this. Now, granted, earnings is around the corner, so we're going to look at Apple again tomorrow, which is Tech Giant Tuesday. We look at Apple almost every day. But I think Apple will either gap down and then trade higher, or gap up on earnings, which I'm pretty sure earnings are just right around the corner, February 1st. So that's this week, ladies and gentlemen. This week. Exciting times on earnings for Apple, but you can get some premium on some credit spreads pretty decently far away. I mean, 155 is even below the 200. It's down here. It's not a joke. So I'm personally looking at tiptoeing into some long positions here on Apple option-wise. The reason I only trade Apple with options the vast majority of the time is because, as I was mentioning to Andre, I've been loving Apple with shares long-term for a long time. And I have a rule that I don't mix and match. You know, if I got a trade long-term or a swing trade, I don't day trade it. So I trade Apple with options the vast majority of the time, unless I do it in a different account or something. I just don't want to remove any gains I make on Apple in the longer term with any kind of shorter term stock trading. So I just trade with options. So you got the covered call up here for February. You got a bull put spread down here, kind of a condor approach. So that's my thoughts on Apple. I mean, it is in a buying spot. Andre said, you essentially be robbing yourself. Exactly. Robert, the fill on that spread was 71 cents. 71 cents. So bottom line, Apple is in a buying spot. Keep your eyes on it. It doesn't say it has to go bullish, but depending on how you want to approach it, it is in an area where we can start getting some bounces. Okay, MZOR. MZOR, robotics, phenomenal double bottom off the 100. Weekly chart looks good. I mean, you had a great breakout back here. Trading higher. So we're just trading into a resistance right now. If you're in shares, it's just entirely up to you. I would create a plan for exactly and precisely how long you want to hold on to MZOR before it breaks out of here. So if you have MZOR, I would say, hey, I want this to trade sideways for X amount of time before it breaks out bullish, and then kind of approach it that way. Otherwise, I would take it out of a breakout, maybe, but at an all-time high, probably wait. I'll put it on the list for Friday or something. MZOR. We'll see if we can break out. Maybe catch on the breakout, but if you're already in, looks nice. Comcast. This is going to be a quick review for me. CMCSA. Can't say enough bad things about Comcast. Here's the weekly chart. And the ironic part is the entire time it was down here, I was like, this is a great place to look to go long. I mean, it bounced off the 100 here, bounced off of it here, bounced off of it here, bounced off of it here, right there. I was like, yeah, this would be a phenomenal place to get in some shares, but nope. Don't want to give Comcast any more money than I need to, mostly because they're terrible. Weekly chart doing its thing, had a big breakout. It's retesting old resistance, new support. Earnings were just around the corner. They were okay. If you're looking at playing Comcast, it is retesting, like I mentioned, this old resistance level right up here as new support. This is kind of the place you can start tiptoeing into some shares. Obviously, a phenomenal place to be buying was back down here when it formed like this triple bottom, invert head and shoulders looking thing. There's the close below the neckline. There's the retest. So Comcast, no trade set up for me. Trend looks pretty good. It's just doing its thing from here. Next on the list, MuleSoft, M-U-L-E. M-U-L-E. Oh, man, that is real sideways. MuleSoft. 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 Honestly, I don't see anything on it. Couldn't go any, I mean, pretty much since its IPO date, this is where it is. It hasn't done much. So find a support on it, wherever your support lines are, wherever you draw them. Earnings are around the corner, 215. A little bit of a support there, a little bit of a support here, some kind of a resistance right there. I would just buy the dip, buy it as low as you can. Nothing really exciting on MuleSoft, at least not yet. Next on the list, Momo. Oh, yeah. Momo. So Momo had a nice little gap today. And this is one that a few real-life traders are in, including myself. This was one that a put sale got my shares put to me. Got some shares put to me. Very pretty bounce, though, if you think about it. Nice resistance right here. So old resistance, 100 simple on a weekly, came down to that level, and that's where I was getting in long on Momo. Got the April 35 covered call. I'm just going to leave it alone. It probably does go up there. Here's the hourly chart. Hourly chart looks nice. It's a retest gap on the hourly, so I know there's about 5 or 6 traders in on Momo with different setups. 200 simple moving average on the daily is at 35. I'm just going to let it slam its head against there. Probably buy to close the covered call for a loss, sell the shares, and walk away with about 2.5, 3 Rs. Probably closer to 2.5. It would have been 4, but I bought some protective puts, earlier, protect myself. Things happen. Momo, nice little bullish trend. I like the gap today. It's a doji, so a gap up on a doji probably would just slowly keep going. So for those in Momo, congrats. If you're not, you missed it. Don't worry about it. We'll get it later. ACAD, Acadia Pharmaceuticals, that is Texas pancake flat. That is miserably sideways. Bullish to neutral. So whatever you're doing on that one, I think Bob has played this one with put sales a few times, and that's the strategy to play. So put sales, bull put spreads, something sideways. If you have shares, maybe we're doing some covered calls. This one white soldier candle, if you were playing the bounce, right? If the stock is trading sideways, buy low, sell high. That right there was your one white soldier candle. And if you were going to get in bullish, it would have been entry above the high, stop below the low, boop, something like that. Just a quick little arge. Other than that, nothing really exciting on ACAD. Next on the list is PBYI. PBYI. I was looking at this one some this weekend, and I've got to say it looks pretty interesting. This is a biotech, pretty advanced stock to trade. I say advanced because it gaps a lot. Very volatile. We are at the 100 on the weekly, though. We did trade down to there. So you got some support resistance right about there. Back over to the daily. It's a retest gap, right? Black candle gapping down. So if I hop back into the hourly now, it looks like it's going to roll over a bit more. But if at any point it closes above here, for those requesting PBYI, I think you could get yourself a nice little wave rotation like that and probably play that one a little bit bullish for the fade. Or at least, again, I love options. 129.18 bull put spreads or put sales. Could also consider that for those who requested PBI. Again, keep in mind, you don't have to trade all these stocks. I'm not. You shouldn't either. Don't even worry about it. BLOG. Which stock was this supposed to be? Bold. BOLD. That's what it was supposed to be. Almost, Jeremy. Almost. BOLD weekly chart. Strong trend. You had a nice one white soldier candle 2 to 3 days ago. Probably got triggered in today if you weren't already in. My thoughts on this one, higher lows, lower highs. Go ahead and put into your plan that this could chop around for the next few weeks and then hopefully continues in the bullish fashion that it started off with. Back to the weekly. Trend looks good. Looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this could be some kind of corrective wave. So yeah, all of this volume, I think we're about to trade sideways a little bit longer on Bold Therapeutics, or I'm sorry, ticker symbol BOLD. But if you are in, just plan to keep holding a little bit as it trades sideways and doesn't really do that much. Schlumberger, also known as Schlumberger. Here's the weekly chart on Schlumberger, stuck. Wow, I did not expect that daily chart. Looks a little bearish today. All I will say is for my active traders, I would look to play that bearish into there quickly. So I'm going to type that in to watch tomorrow morning. Tuesday morning, SLB. So I'm going to watch that for a potential day trade, just a quick little in and out. Here's the weekly chart. Other than that, guys, I think that's it right now. I'll put it on the list also for Wednesday, but swing trade, I don't see anything on SLB. Not yet, anyway. Googs with no L, just G-O-O-G. Google, it's a train. Choo-choo train. Come on, ride that train. Right now, I keep waiting on Google. Give it a little bit more time. That train is tracking pretty much the market right now. We'll come back and look at Google probably more tomorrow or later. No trade on it presently. It's doing its thing. Buy dip. Micron Technology. So Brad has a put sale at 39 on Micron. I have one at 38 on Micron. We're going to continue to trade sideways for a while. There is some premium on Micron Technology with some put sales or credit spreads for my credit spread fans. Really the best place to get it would probably be down here somewhere, 39 or below. So we'll just kind of look at it and see what's going on from there. But right now on Micron, it's going to be in a triangle pattern for a bit. Let it keep consolidating. And, you know, we'll look at it again tomorrow for Tech Giant Tuesday. Right now, it's just hanging out. Of course, it's any time for Intel. No, sir, we are booked for today, but I will put it on the list for tomorrow. Intel, very strong bullish gap. Tuesday Morning Corporation, no idea what this one does, but it is tomorrow. Tuesday morning, nice resistance here at 335. For whoever requested Tuesday morning, you have yourself a nice triangle pattern, such as this, and you would simply look to break out with a close above the high. Mark said this is a discount retail sales. Ah, thank you, sir. So, yeah, looks good. Iris says, think the market will go over 30,000? You mean the Dow Jones? Yes, it will. Question is when. Will it happen this year? Probably. Probably. So Tuesday morning, that's all I got on it. Close above that resistance, and would be bearish. We have Square. Here's a little SQ. A little bit of a warning sign on Square today. This is a tweezer top on Square. The highs are the exact same. Now, if you have a Square position, I'm not saying it's going to go to zero. I'm simply saying if it does take out the low of these two candles, just plan for it to at least come into the 10, more than likely the 20, which is good for those who are not in, because this means that this is the possible pullback opportunity to get back in on Square. That's really it. The good news is if you have a good bullish day tomorrow, let's say you gap down and trade higher, if we break above the high of these two candles, Square will keep chugging along. Personally, I think it's the first plan. I think we're going to pull back a little bit on Square. We're going to chop around some, get down to the 20 EMA. So everything looks good on Square. Nothing too crazy. Pets. Just a quick glance at Pets. We have a few traders have a put sale on Pets down here at 40. Robert, Matthias, Thomas have some down there for March. I got some down there a little bit later. Robert says, quick bearish trade, then buy the dip longer term. I wouldn't trade it bearish. Personally, I would just look to buy the dip on Square. Yes. Pets came down to the 50 EMA. Nice little bullish candle here, almost a tweezer, but not quite. Bouncing off the 50. The trend is good on the daily chart. Really what you're doing is you're coming back and retesting this old resistance from that candle's new support. So for you guys who got the put sale, looks good. I got the February for 30. You guys got much better premium than I. Here's the weekly. The weekly looks good. So Pets probably just keeps slowly burning and churning higher. Next on the list is Rig. I don't think anything's going on Rig. Rig, nah. Nothing really. Flat, guys. Rig is pancake flat. No trade. Right at the 100 simple. Nothing exciting. Nope. iRobot. I know Bob said he had a covered call on iRobot, but I forget where. So iRobot trend, it's waiting for it to pull back into a moving average. It's very, very steep. At this particular point in time, here's the exponential moving averages. I would just expect and anticipate when this happens on iRobot to buy that dip. I know he said he had a covered call. I just forget the exact strike. Beautiful double bottom down here on the weekly chart on iRobot. Yeah, that's all I would say on iRobot. I mean, this is probably you're getting into a little bit of a selling zone. So doing a covered call or maybe getting into a collar for those who have shares on iRobot makes sense. Otherwise, nothing crazy. Looks like we're going to go a little bit long today, but not too bad. KBH Homes. Took some with KBH, pulling back down a little bit lower. 50 EMA is its last support. Probably bounces off of that. You got some support resistance right here. If it bounces, cool. I would wait probably a little bit more for buying it just based on the weekly chart. I mean, again, look at this. Look at this move on the weekly. It's a very nice breakout on the weekly, no question. Beautiful trend, new highs, things are looking good. And I would just say look to pull back. Could this be it? Could this be all that it gets? Maybe. Let's give it 2 or 3 more days. I'll put this on the list for Thursday. We'll come back to it and see if we end up playing a little bit of a hammer off the 10 EMA on the weekly. D, Dominion Resources, Dominion Energy. Dominion Energy on the daily chart. Gosh, that's a brutally ugly stock. Ugly. Eventually goes higher, but not in a pretty form. Dominion Resources probably comes down to or very close to the 50, which is $72. Very choppy stock. Looks like, however, with today's lower shadow, that it's going to try to form a double bottom. So if you are actively, whoever requested this one, if you're actively trading the stock, you might want to zoom in here to the hourly or the 15-minute, and you're welcome to maybe try to snag a quick bullish double bottom off of there if you see some volume or some good candles coming in on a smaller time frame. Otherwise, yeah, I'd try to come back down to 72 and then buy the dip down there. Next, we got BOTZ. BOTZ isn't really doing much other than just going up. I mean, had a beautiful bounce down there off the moving averages in December. There's a few real-life traders in BOTZ. Had a gorgeous move for January. So for those who were in, high 5. Otherwise, just let it sit up here, let this moving averages catch up and let it do its thing. Trend is bullish. Nothing really crazy on that one. Sears, it is Merchant Monday, of course. So let's look at Sears. Going to 0. Going to get bought out or go bankrupt anytime soon. Can't short it. Don't buy it. That's all my thoughts on Sears. Don't touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. XLNX. This is one that Tommy was looking at earlier today. It had a much better candle earlier. It was an inside day candle. Now it's no longer an inside day candle, so I like it a little bit less. But Tommy is looking at trading this thing bullish. Did that happen right at the end of the market? Yep, it did. Well, what we'll do is I'll put it on the list and just see what it looks like tomorrow. And depending on tomorrow's candle, we might trade that bullish off of the 100. Put a stop right there. But again, this is just me beginning to plan the trade. So I create it, set it up, come back the next day and see what it looks like. So I'll put down the list for tomorrow, XLNX. And then last but not least for today is Alcoa. This might make the weekly options newsletter. I really do like the fact that it closed above 53.98. So we're going to look at that much closer tomorrow on Alcoa. Might even be a weekly option setup. But right now, I was pretty bearish on it with that bearish gap. The fact that it closed above that price is kind of a big deal. So keep your eyes on Alcoa bullish. I think that's a kind of a fun signal. And let's make a little bit of magic, shall we? Cool. That is it for me today. Sorry I'm a little bit long, but I'll copy and paste that. I got a nice long list already for Tech Giant Tuesday tomorrow. Let me just rattle through some of these. ATI, CORT, OLED, NVS, YINN, Texas Instruments, Apple, of course, AZN, Data, DATA, GoDaddy, BLOK, BLCN, LEGR, SGH, 3D printing, CTRL, Watts, ALL, Schwab, AYX again, BB, ISOL, Google with an L, Intel, Micron, XL&X, BABA, VMW, AMBA, LRCX, First Solar. NEPT. You guys know where to find me. 23 hours from now, I'll be back for Merchant Monday. And of course, Bitcoin class #1 starting in 90 minutes. I'll see you there. Be there or be a triangle. Bye.